Hello, hello. Heat wave. Oh no. Oh, my light went out over here, so it's a little darker than usual. Hello. How's everyone doing? Let me know where you're watching from. And let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully this mic is plugged in all right. Man. All right, so we're going to talk New York Liberty. I don't know. Hi. Good to see you. It's been a while since I've gone live. The social justice series has slowed down for a little bit, but have some things in the works that I'm hoping to get going. All right. Audio sounds good. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to talk New York Liberty about 30 minutes or so, because then I have to hop on a Zoom call for pregame with Coach Walt Hopkins. So, thank you. Nice glasses. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. They're like blue light glasses. So I like to wear them when I'm staring at a screen because that's what they're for. But then they give a glare because they're blue light glasses. The struggle. Anyway, non-prescription. Okay. So I'm here to talk about the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty are going into their 11th game, which in a 22-game season per team, that's the halfway point. So they're going to be playing the Seattle Storm tonight. And I wanted to just get off my chest some of the things that I've been thinking about the New York Liberty. Only 3 of you guys. That's all right. It's still a party. But let people know on Twitter that we're here, that we're having a good time. So they're going to be halfway through the season. There is a lot to talk about. There's only one win for the New York Liberty, but there's still a lot to talk about. And so I'm going to do a little bit of that here. So the first thing that I really wanted to talk about was just let's get this out of the way. Sabrina Ionescu, right? For those of you who are familiar with my New York Liberty coverage, you know that I had a lot of questions about Sabrina Ionescu coming to New York. Not because I have any questions about Sabrina Ionescu's game, but because I was concerned that the team would be, or the franchise would be, satisfied by only getting Sabrina and not building a team around Sabrina. And then we go into the draft and there's a lot of different draft picks and you get a lot of young talent. And then we go into a COVID adjusted season, and realistically speaking, I mean, if this were a normal season, would all 7, including Sabrina, would all 7 of those rookies make the roster? I don't think so, because you have Rebecca Allen. I would have, loved to see Rashonda Gray stick around. I just don't know. You have Maureen Johannes. So I don't know that all of these rookies would be given an opportunity, but they're taking it, they're running with it, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Lasia Clarendon was added to the roster, and I think was supposed to be a veteran guard coming on to this New York Liberty team. And I will say, Lasia has done pretty well. I asked her today, she was coming off of a surgery and an injury to her ankle. She said she's feeling good, or Lasia goes by all pronouns, so I'll interchange them, just FYI. But Lasia said she's feeling good. Her ankle is feeling strong. They said that sometimes when you have an injury, you focus on strength in other places because you can't, move your ankle around the way you might want. So, came in healthy. They came in healthy. But here's the thing. Lasia doesn't bring speed to the point guard position, and she's a veteran in that she has more years than some of the other players. But, you know, Leisha has been kind of a plug guard, not the go-to guard. So these minutes that Leisha is getting are different than what we've seen from her in the past. And her having all of these minutes and then not having Sabrina Ionescu, I I have some concerns. Again, Leisha said she's feeling good, so you gotta trust and trust that she knows what she's talking about. But I don't know. That's a concern for me. I am not completely sold on Leisha being the overall starting point guard for this team. I think they're going to need to find a player that's a little bit more dynamic. What do I mean by that? Leisha doesn't have great speed, so pushing a up-tempo game is not going to happen through Leisha. Sabrina's not that fast either, but she's a little quicker on her feet, I think. A lot quicker on her feet. Leisha is doing great for the New York Liberty as far as penetrating, and I'm going to get into some stats regarding that because I'm very disappointed at what's happening in the paint. But Leisha gets into the paint, but she herself mentioned that finishing has been something that she's had to work on. And for a team that is getting a lot of points, let me make sure I have this right. 22.6% of their points are from the free throw line. That's the New York Liberty. For a team that's going to get to the line, you want to be able to take free throws, but you also got to make those. You got to make those field goals. And the field goal percentage is bad for New York. They're not finishing. They're not finishing their shots in the paint, or mid-range game is basically non-existent. And so Leisha, she's the facilitator, but she's also got to, be proficient in some of those things. And I think that is not necessarily her game right now. So some of these struggles, I guess what I'm really trying to say, the New York Liberty we're going to have regardless of if Sabrina is healthy or not. That doesn't change. I think what has changed is the amount of minutes that some of these rookies are getting. Nay Odom has been starting. You also see Kylie Shook is a player that even today, Kia Nurse and Leisha Clarendon were talking about Kylie Shook and just her IQ probably being the highest among the rookies that they have now. And I think you see that in her game. I like how Kylie responds to the game. I think she gets it. She gets what's going on. She sees the game well. She feels the game well. I think what would be great is if Kylie, and honestly the rest of the post players, but if Kylie had a little bit more confidence and got a little more assertive on the block. I am not happy with how New York Liberty is playing on the block. I don't think they have a game, in the post. You have so many players that are post players that are shooting three. I mean, we keep hearing from Walt Hopkins, head coach Walt Hopkins, that he is really focused on having his players shoot from the perimeter, including Kia Stokes. Upwards of 6 feet. Kia Stokes just draining threes, and he says that she's one of the more accurate 3-point shooters on the team. That also kind of troubles me. But here's the thing. Kia Stokes is great on the defensive boards, but I don't know. She doesn't have that same feel for the boards offensively. I don't see her crashing the boards. Second chance points are a problem with the New York Liberty. They're not really getting many second chance points, and they have to crash the boards. And a player like Kia Stokes, with her body type and her height, she needs to be crashing the boards, and I would love to see her do that more. Defensively, great. And I think that's because, generally speaking, on defense, you have your back to the basket and you're in position. You turn around, you box out, and the ball's right there. When you're on the offensive boards, you're being pushed out of the way. So you have to be a little more assertive. And Kia Stokes, I just want to see her take her assertiveness to the next level. What is this? It's saddening that the New York Liberty ain't getting a ton of love, and I want them to do better. On the other hand, my Sparks are getting some dubs. Hope we continue with the win streak. Well, congratulations to you and also to Rashonda Gray, who was on the New York Liberty last season and is not on the roster this year. You know, someone else who was drafted by the New York Liberty was cut in training camp by Katie Smith and now has a WNBA championship and continues to see her star rise. Do you know who that is? Anyone in the chat? Do you know who I'm talking about? I'm going to let that, because there's a little bit of a delay. If you know who I'm talking about, drop the name in the chat. I think about this all the time. Literally, as a New York Liberty beat writer, I saw this player getting cut in Westchester County Center. I was on the side where the benches are, up in the balcony, saw the whole conversation go down before the press release happened. And now this player has a championship and is playing for a team that is primed to make the playoffs and have a good deep run in the playoffs. Do you know who I'm talking about? Drop the name in the comments. We'll see. I'll give a virtual gold star to the person who gets the name right. Anyway, I went off track completely here. I'd like to see Kia Stokes get more aggressive and assertive. Kylie Shook has everything there. She's got the game. She passes well. Great on the pick and roll. I want to see her on the block. I want to see if she can post up on the block, get fed the ball on the block, take it up. I want to see that. If she has a mid-range game, let's go with that too. I do not want to see Kylie Shook shooting three-pointers. I know apparently that's Walt's system, but I'm going to get into that as well. Okay, so roster updates are, we don't really know what's happening with Sabrina Ionescu. Paris Key has been invited to the Wubble and has been signed by the New York Liberty. She has arrived, according to Jackie Powell, and is in her quarantine period. She has to go through 4 days of quarantine and has to have no positive tests within that time before she can join the team. So we'll see what happens. Biggest challenges. The biggest challenges right now, obviously, is not having Sabrina Ionescu. She dropped 33 points and then got an injury. There's a stagnation on offense. Kia Nurse has been struggling. She's been very open and vocal about her struggles this season. Lasia Clarendon is up there as far as, you know, a player that can give you double digits, but I'm worried about her engine. I wonder if she's gonna, you know, tire out. And then you have Jazz Jones. Now, Lasia talked a little bit about Jazz Jones. She's got great energy. Man, do I love Jazz Jones. I love her energy. She's got moxie. She plays like a New York style of basketball, like get in my face. I don't care if it's your birthday, Skylar Diggins Smith. I'm going to give it to you. The balance, though, with that, and Lasia Clarendon said she's been talking to her. Lasia said that Walt's been talking to her, is that she can't get teed up. She's got to control that. You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of a young Shavante Zealous. Shavante Zealous was electric when she was on the court for New York. You wanted her on the court. She'd get you a solid 12 points plus every game. She could easily take over a game, but she'd run her mouth. She'd get under people's skin. She'd get frustrated by the game. And I think that impacted her teammates. The New York Liberty in the last few seasons, they're kind of a lower key. They're not like a in your face kind of New York team. They're kind of quiet, keep stuff to themselves type of team. And Shavante was just like all out there. And I don't know. It seemed to clash with some of the players who are still on the Liberty. So I don't know. But I don't know. Jazz Jones, Shavante Zealous, anyone else feeling it? Where are y'all watching from? I would love to know. Oop, I see it in the comments. That's correct. Mercedes Russell. I love watching Mercedes Russell thrive. It hurts knowing that she has championship, knowing that she was drafted by the New York Liberty and then cut. That hurts. But I love that she's doing well. I love it. Absolutely. Exactly. Mercedes Russell. You got it. That's who I was thinking of. Keep it jazzy for Jazz Jones. Oh, yeah, she's great. Here's the thing, though, about Jazz Jones. I think she did not play the first game, I should say, because she was dealing with an injury. I think she's still dealing with that. I think it's a lingering injury. We see that she sometimes has to be on the workout bike. And she's, one of the more electric players for this team. That's going to be a challenge if, she is hunkered down with an injury. I think Layshia Clarendon, they say they're feeling good, but I have concerns. Layshia's one of the veterans on the team. And then there's Amanda Zahui B. Amanda Zahui B, she wants more for herself. I think this team needs more from Amanda Zahui B. I hear she's great on the bench. We've always known that about Amanda Zahui B. Maybe she's not getting minutes. Maybe she's dealing with foul trouble. She's going to keep her team in the game by cheering them on, letting them know what she's seeing from the bench, and that's great. But you need Amanda Zahui B to be effective. She has a nice, solid mid-range shot. She can shoot from the perimeter. I would love to see her also be more aggressive on the block and shooting points in the paint. I'm going to keep saying this. Anyone who is on the New York Liberty beat who is watching this, I keep asking Walt about what's happening, points in the paint. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But Amanda Zahui B, I want to see more from her. I want to see her commit to what are the 3 things that she's going to do and do them well. Here are the 3 things I would like to see her do. I want to see her mid-range and deeper. I don't really want to see Amanda Zahui B shooting from the perimeter. I think you have enough players that not only can shoot from the perimeter, but that you need on the perimeter. Maybe you have her dip out once or twice every so often, but I would like to see Zahui B mid-range and deeper. I would like to see Amanda Zahui B be ruthless. I'm talking like in your face, ruthless on defense. We need someone who is gonna, sometimes you gotta throw an elbow. Oh, motorcycles on the block. Sometimes you gotta throw an elbow. Why? It's not to be mean. It's just to let the other team know that you're there, that they can't mess with you. Just bow, hit them in the rib. Sometimes you got to do it. That's the game. This is a physical game. This is basketball. I want to see Amanda Zahui B do that, but do it smart. Gamesmanship. I'm not talking like recklessly foul like some people, Diana Taurasi. She also does that strategically, though, just so y'all know. But her fouls, when she really wants to foul someone, it's reckless. It's hella reckless. Like, I'm talking like, technical foul type reckless. I kind of love it. Sometimes you got to let people know, don't mess with me. You're not messing with me today. Don't mess with my team. Don't mess with me. It's not happening. Make them think twice before they come in the paint. I think Amanda Zahui B can be that person. So mid-range and deeper. I want to see her just ruthless on defense. And I want to see Amanda Zahui B crash the O boards. I also want to see Kia Stokes do it, but Zaui's got to lead that. I don't know why that's not really a part of Stokes' game very much, but we need Zahui to do it. When she's in the game, needs Zahui to do it. When Shook is in the game, needs Shook to do it. If Zahui and Shook are in the game together, they both need to do it. Need a presence in the paint. Recycle the basketball out. Reset the offense. Get another shot. Push in the offense. That's another thing that I'd like to see. I said I was going to give a mid-season report card. Ooh. Grading was never my thing. Like, I don't know. Do you guys prefer A through F or like 0 to 100? I feel like sometimes the numbers are a little bit easier to work with, but there's just like a lot more of them. But then if you go with the letter grades, then it's like, do you go plus minus system? Like, I don't know. So if I had to give a grade for this team, well, if we go by wins, losses, they're failing, right? They're 1-9. I just have to be blunt. There's no other way to get around it. If you go by effort, glimmers here and there. That Vegas game was heartbreaking. They had some elements in the Lynx, the Minnesota game, both of them. But the last one I actually thought was better than the first one. But the first one, they were more optimistic than the last one. I don't know. Effort is, I would say, like a C. So what is that, like a 70 something, right? Like a 70. I'd say it's a C, a solid C. I think, again, going back to players like Zowie, players like Shook, players like Jasmine, great pieces there, but they're things that they just have to do that they're not doing. Kia Nurse would maybe bump up effort to like a C minus. C plus, B minus, C plus, C plus. Because what I like about Kia Nurse this year is, I think, unfortunately, since she came into the team, they were playing in Westchester County. She had a new coach, her rookie year. She talked about today that, rookie mistakes were only hers. She was the only rookie her year. So she didn't have 7 or 6 other players to kind of, go through the experience with her, because Mercedes Russell got cut. Mercedes Russell would have been the other. I'm just saying. I'm not over it. I'm clearly not over it. Anyway, I digress. Kia Nurse went from playing at UConn to playing for the New York Liberty in the worst years of the franchise. I mean, let's just be honest. There's no getting around it. The stats don't lie. They haven't had a winning record since Bill Ambier's last season. They haven't been over 500. It's like the same thing. They haven't been over 500 since Bill Ambier's last season. And I've seen Kia Nurse. She doesn't pay attention to social media. We found out today, so she's probably not going to watch this. Someone might tell her, but I think it's true. Kia, I stand by this. I think that there's been times in her New York Liberty career where she has let the frustration get the best of her, and it has impacted her game on the court. It's one thing. You expect some frustration when you're in the locker room or when you're talking to players. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about her game. I'm talking about like sticking to what she's good at. This season, I've seen her consistent. I've seen her be consistent in finding a way to impact the game. I talked about, points in the paint, or I talked about getting to the free throw line. I mean, a lot of that is Kia Nurse. It's Kia Nurse. Like, who else is in the paint for the New York Liberty other than Laisha Clarendon, who I already mentioned? It's Kia Nurse. So I would bump her score personally up a little bit, but I think it's a solid C for this team. Coaching. I think we're in the C range. I'm struggling if I want to go C or C minus. I'm struggling. I don't believe in mid-season report cards because it's just halfway to the postseason. Okay. I mean, well, here's the thing. One, it's like something to talk about, but it's like a progress report, right? It's a progress report. Raise your hand. Anyone get a progress report in school? I know I did. This is a progress report. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. I'm not really thrilled with Walt Hopkins right now. Here's why. I love his philosophy for being very analytical, and he had all these quizzes that the team took, and I love that. The reason that I say C minus maybe is because I don't think Walt has adjusted his game plan considering the circumstances. And I'm talking both pre-Sabrina Ionescu's injury and certainly post Sabrina Ionescu's injury, but also we can even wipe that off the board. I'm also talking about before the season started and now that we're actually in the season. Here's the thing. We're halfway. Game 11 is tonight, and we're halfway through the season. Yes, this is a learning curve. Everyone is learning. He's got 6 rookies, 7 if you include Sabrina. Lasia Clarendon didn't play for this team last year. Even your baby vets or your veterans on the team, like an Amanda Zowie B, and like Lasia, they weren't necessarily, they weren't starters. They weren't starters for most of their WNBA career. Kia Nurse has the most starting experience. Stokes the same thing. She didn't start a lot. So that's a lot. That's already a lot for a new head coach, right? And I understand that. I get that. Here's the thing. The 3-point shots are not falling. They don't look good. They're not falling. They look forced. And there's a few ways of thinking about this. One is if it's not working, you got to fix something, right? So there's that adjustment. I get that that's his philosophy, but here's the thing, right? When you're not getting shots to fall, especially long range shots, the best thing to do to get confidence while also not falling very behind as far as the score is to take closer shots, is to take easier shots. That's what Kia Nurse is doing by getting to the foul line. The New York Liberty is not doing that. I don't get the sense that Walt Hopkins is willing to compromise on that. And I think that's a problem because you have 6 rookies active and you need them to not mentally or emotionally, get into such a deep funk. They need to score. That's literally the game. The game is to score baskets. The game isn't to score baskets only by shooting 3-pointers. So yes, I get that was the game plan, but the game, right, is to score more points than the other team. If you can't do that from the 3-point line, then you need to push it in. Modification. And I don't think Walt is doing that. And that is a challenge for me. That's a huge challenge. So I'm going to go solid C- there. Yeah. The grading, there's no grading system that's going to be great for this team. I see the comments now. They just can't seem to get out of their losing court. Yeah, and that's the other thing, and I talked about Bill Laimbeer a little bit. Technically, the last time that this team had a winning season was with Bill Laimbeer, but there was a steady decline. Yes, they were first in the East, but even if we look now, I think I was reading the gist. And of the top few teams, there's only 2 or 3 of them that are from the East. So, being the top team in the East, it's like the NBA. I don't know. What is up with that? Can we reclaim the East Coast? Can we just I just want to, I don't know what's happening. Represent for the East. We need to fix that. I'm not feeling it. I don't know what's up with that. But we need to get the juju. We need to get the juju back on the East Coast. Why is it that in almost every league you can kind of figure that the East Coast ain't gonna be? That's kind of messed up. I don't like it. Anyway, I digress for the 5th time on this thing. I do have notes, but it's got to be a C-. I know, Walt. I know. You're not gonna like that, but you know what? I got to be real. I don't like that we're not flipping that. The 3-pointers aren't falling. I'm not saying don't take 3-pointers, but I just get the sense that everyone's thinking 3-pointer first. You got to take the shot that's good. And there are not a lot of good shots that are going up. There are forced shots. There's not a lot of ball movement. Even, you know what? I would be happy. Take all 3-pointers, but make sure that the ball gets to the post. They're not even doing that. There's been multiple times where, Carolyn Peck is calling the game and, she's saying that there's just all the players are out on they're all out here. It's just there's not even a toe in the paint. So what on defense? You're basically playing a zone. Like the Liberty put themselves in a position where the other defense can basically just play zone, just clog up the paint. They're not going to come here anyway, and they can't make the shot from three. So, and if they're shooting from out there, and if literally all 5 players are out here, then no wonder they're not getting offensive rebounds because there's nobody there. Nobody's crashing the boards. Nobody's on the block. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? This is like simple stuff. 3 points, 3-pointers made, 8 3-pointers made per game, 27 attempted. 27 attempted, 8 made. Like, those aren't good numbers. That math doesn't like look good. Doesn't sound good. It's not sexy. I get in theory what you're trying to do, but you have shooters. If you want snipers on your team, you know what shooters need to do? They need to shoot. Not just in games, they need to shoot in practice. So you know what's really tough to do in the wubble is to practice. So your shooters aren't getting that touch. They're not getting that touch. They're not getting their reps. They're not getting their shots up. They play every other day. Their legs are tired. Legs feed the wolf. What is that? Is that how it goes? What is the saying? I don't know. Something about wolf and legs. You got to have strong legs. For a season like this, you got to have strong legs. And I don't know. So that's what I'd like to see. Going back to, I said I was going to go back to my wish list. On my wish list was a coach with experience. Experience matters in the WNBA. We have Walt, that's neither here nor there, but experience matters in the WNBA, not just on the coaching staff. Look at the top teams. Seattle, Sue Bird, Stewie. Like Sue Bird has like all of the experience. Jewel Lloyd and Jordan Canada got experience last year by starting. Well, Jewel's been starting, but you get my point. Los Angeles. We got Manny in the chat. Los Angeles. They're like a hybrid team. They have some young players, Taya Cooper, Rashonda Gray, making the team because of all of the COVID situation. But then they have Simone Augustus, just casually has what? How many rings with Minnesota? Candace Parker, how many rings? Chelsea Gray, how many rings? Like, come on. A young team also has experience on the bench and on the court. Minnesota's not, they're kind of doing better than I thought that they would, especially with Sylvia Fowles down. Sylvia Fowles, how many rings? Between Cheryl Reeve, Rebecca Brunson, Planette Pearson, and Katie Smith, how many rings? I think it's almost 20. Experience matters in the WNBA. I said I wanted to see some experience. We didn't get it. I mean, we have Shelly Patterson. I want to know more about that dynamic. Assistant coach Shelly Patterson. I want to know more about that. I think Dustin is the other assistant coach. Heard about him, not hearing about Shelly too much. Maybe it's just because nobody's asking, myself included, but I want to know what's going on there. Another thing on my wish list was a guard with experience. And Leja is like midway there. It's just they need a point guard with experience. And Leisha's close. She's better, but not quite what the Liberty need to really get into the win column. What else did I say? Some help for Tina Charles. Well, Tina Charles isn't on the team anymore, but Tina Charles was the post play for the New York Liberty. Wasn't Amanda Zawi. Hanju never played, but even when she did, she was shooting 3-pointers. She's 19-year-old, like 7 feet tall, shooting 3-pointers, making them, but shooting 3. What? Okay, like, I'm sorry. I'm anti-positionless basketball because that is ridiculous to me. Yes, stretch the floor. I love to see it. Brittany Griner, I know she doesn't really have a long range game, but Brittany Griner, if she's not in foul trouble, is Brittany Griner. Buckets, bunnies all day. Automatic 2-pointers. Sometimes you just need to score. You don't need a 3-pointer. You need to score. Keep the game tight. Keep it under control. That's not happening for the New York Liberty, and it didn't happen last year. It didn't happen the year before that, and it was on the decline while Bill Laimbeer was there. Positionless basketball, I hate it. I want it to go away. Can we toss it away with all of 2020? It just has to go. It has to go. West Coast is here we go. Thank you. Yes, East Coast needs the swagger back. I'm just getting to the comments here. We need to play by position. Do you think Paris is a key? Oh, so UNC, Paris key. I need to see her at this level. Was she with Indiana, right? I think Indiana's a team. I mean, this is not Indiana Fever podcast, but they're a conundrum in and of themselves. Here's what I like about Paris. I think that she will bring some energy, fresh legs, and potentially some speed, some lateral speed, some hand speed. So we're talking like on the defensive end of things. I want to see back cuts. I want to see movement through the paint on offense. Do I think Paris can bring that? Yes. If, I think that if that's her game and that's what she brings to the Liberty, she's the exception. And I think that's the problem. So if that's what she's going to bring, if her natural game, at least what I know of her game, if that's going to be integrated into the fold, I'm all for it. What I don't want to see is people that are not necessarily comfortable shooting the three, looking for the three first, and then looking for the layup. I don't want to see that. So again, that's kind of more of a Walt Hopkins thing for me, but we'll see. Yeah, so we'll see. But she's not going to be in a game tonight. Thursday at the earliest, and then it's going to take a few games to break her in. So, other things that I want to see. Did I get through? I think I got through my entire wish list. If you were wondering, and I'll put this in for the replay, but I'm looking at my New York Liberty wish list from December. I wrote it for The Athletic, and I basically said some things that I want, including, I see there's swagger in the chat, and I got to get going soon, but swag. I want some swag for the New York Liberty. I'm kind of glad that we're having this, can I be blunt, trash season in Bradenton and not at Barclays. The swag needs to come back. You know who had swag? Brittany Boyd had swag. Was she always great in all of the statistic columns? Heck no. But she had swag. You know who had swag, who's back in the league playing for the Phoenix Mercury along with Bria Hartley? I have a whole rant for that. Kia Vaughn. Swag. I need some swag on this team. You know who has swag on this team? Jasmine Jones has swag. You know who has swag potential? Like low-key swag potential? Kylie Shook. That's that New York City. I want some New York City swag up in here. I want it. Kia Nurse, let her drop some threes. I want to see her with like, bow, yeah, dow. Like, cause she has that. I want to see it. I want to see the swag. Just like swag out. Who cares? If you lose, drop that tray ball, hold it up, all of the things. Like, just play with swag. Leisure Clarendon, they have been talking about having fun. It's not fun to lose. But it is fun to score. It is fun to take a charge. It is fun to block a shot. I want to see some more swag. Swag from this New York Liberty team. I definitely had that on my wish list. It's still on my wish list today. Some swag. I want to see Walt let his team play. Just let them play. Throw the rule book away. I mean, like, we're in the yeah, you won one game in a 22-game season, and game 11 is tonight. Like, let them play. Just let them play. See what happens. What's the worst that can happen? They lose again? They lose? They don't make 3-pointers? Come on. I don't know. Another thing that I want to see, though, is to respect the basketball. Respect the basketball. Turnovers. I know I wrote this over here. Turnovers. They're averaging almost 20 points per game to the opponent on turnovers. That's not good. 20 points. They're 12th. 18.2 turnovers per game. Respect the rock. Protect the rock. You have to do that. Have to do that. And I talked about Brittany Boyd. I talked about Bria Hartley, Tanisha Wright also. There are certain reporters, they know who they are, that like to bring up turnovers for the guards for the New York Liberty last year. And I get it. I get it. You know who else has a lot of turnovers this year? Layshia Clarendon. But here's the thing. If you're bringing the ball up the court and all of your team is on the perimeter and they're all just standing here like this, and nobody's moving, nobody's doing back cuts, nobody's doing screens effectively anyway, who do you think is going to get the most turnovers? The guard trying to hit the wing or the guard trying to feed the post? I mean, that makes sense to me. Does that make sense to y'all? Because that's been my argument. If it doesn't make sense, y'all let me know. But I feel vindicated because Bria Hartley is having an amazing season. She's having an amazing season with Phoenix, and y'all should put some respect on her. Did I want Bria Hartley to run point guard last season? Yes. And no. Yes, because I think she was the best option. Hell no, because Bria Hartley she's not a point guard. She's not a point guard. She's not a point guard. Not a point guard. I could do a whole rant on that, but I have to get over to this Zoom call quickly. Swagger state of mind. Exactly. Play like you're winning even if you lose. Because then who could tell you? It can't nobody tell you nothing. It's like, oh, we beat you by 30. But do you have swag, though? I'm sitting here with my chin up, head held high. But I blocked your shot, though. But who's going to be on Sports Center? That's what I'm talking about. Play with swag. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here because I have to hop onto the Zoom call. A few things that I want to point out to you. Some cool things happening here. I mentioned Jackie Powell. Tomorrow, Thursday, today is, 2 days, 2 days from now, Thursday, August 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, New York Liberty beat reporter for the Next, Jackie Powell, and editor-in-chief for the Next and the 9 newsletter where I write, Howard Megdal, are going to be discussing the New York Liberty season. I'm going to try and check it out, but that's going to be a Zoom conversation. You need to be a subscriber to the Next in order to head over there. I think that's how it works. But there's a whole link. I'll put that in the show notes. Also, shout out to the peeps at Cloud9. If you don't know, Cloud9 is the supporters group for the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, Sky Blue FC team. And they, for the second half of the New York Liberty season, are going to be doing a New York Liberty Wubble Pledge Drive. Now, here's how it works. They are going to be helping raise funds for the African American Policy Forum. That is the organization that founded #SayHerName, which is a part of the platform for the WNBA this season. But also the African American Policy Forum is the organization that the New York Liberty is partnering with. So check out, I'll also put this for the replay. I'll put the description there, but you can check out the Google form, the Google Doc that Cloud9 has. So they are at Cloud9, as in the number 9, SBFC, which stands for Sky Blue FC. So at Cloud9 FBFC, go fill out the Google Doc, make your pledge. It's honor code. You could also make a flat out donation to the African American Policy Forum. So claps for Cloud9. I participated when they did something for the NWSL season. Gonna participate for the WNBA season. And then finally, I'm wearing, this is actually a Connecticut Sun shirt, and their platform is Change Can't Wait, but they're also doing a 5K. It's Connecticut Sun 5K. It's a virtual 5K, so you kind of run on your own or walk. I will be walking or like some kind of speed walk or something. But I'm going to be run walking on a team called The W is So Important. And I'm going to be run walking with teammates Kelsey Trainer and Ari Chambers, also from the WOSO, as we like to say, women's soccer WOSO community. Ari does it all, except we got to get her to hockey. Got to get her to hockey. Got to get Kelsey to hockey. They need to come live my life with me. Anyway, we're doing the 5K. The W is So Important is our team name. We already have surpassed our 500 goal. So we're trying to get to 1,000. I think we're going to nail that as well. So all of those links I will have here. You can also find them on the Twitter machine. Thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. I got a little bit worked up about the New York Liberty, but it's all in good fun. Thank you. Yes, at Cloud9 FBFC. All of the stuff right there in the chat as well. You can find it on the social meets. All right, I'm going to go talk to Walt. I'm going to tell him all of the things that I said to you, maybe a little bit nicer, and I probably leave out the grade. He doesn't need to know that. He knows the truth. He knows the truth. Anyway, I'm out for now, and 10 p.m. tonight against the Seattle Storm. We'll see how it goes. And Thursday, another live chat. If you can't get enough New York Liberty talk, head over to the Next and watch or participate in their Zoom chat. Until next week, we'll have another episode of Gotta Get Up. Probably won't be live, but we'll have another episode. Erica Lindsay Ayala out.